Scott Aukerman is an Emmy Award-winning American writer, actor, comedian, television personality, director, producer, and podcast host. In the mid-1990s, Aukerman was a writer and performer on Mr. Show with Bob and David. He currently hosts the weekly comedy podcast Comedy Bang Bang as well as the IFC original television series Comedy Bang Bang. Aukerman is also the co-creator of Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis and co-founder of the Earwolf podcast network. Early life: Aukerman was born in Savannah, Georgia and grew up in Orange County, California, attending Cypress High School and the Orange County High School of the Arts, studying acting and musical theater and writing plays in his spare time. He also started a short-lived band, The Naked Postman, with Adrian Young, who went on to be the drummer for No Doubt. While attending Orange Coast College in Costa Mesa, he and fellow student B.J. Porter began writing together when they were both scripting and performing in a radio show called Lutz Radio. Career: after a brief period studying at the Pacific Conservatory of the Performing Arts and touring the country as a musical theater actor, in 1995, at the request of their friends, Aukerman and Porter started performing at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles under the moniker The Fun Bunch, a name meant to parody improvisation groups at the time. Mr. Show co-creator Bob Odenkirk was in the audience for the second performance, and soon tapped the duo to write and occasionally perform on the HBO series in its fourth season. This led to an Emmy nomination in 1999 for Aukerman and the rest of the staff. Aukerman appeared sporadically on the show, most notably as the model Theo Brixton in the Taint magazine sketch. After the demise of the sketch comedy series, Aukerman, along with Porter, segued into writing film and television scripts, most notably Run Ronnie Run, the Mr. Show movie from New Line Cinema, and the first draft of the Tenacious D movie. In 2004, he and Porter received an additional dialogue credit on DreamWorks Animation's animated feature Shark Tale. They went on to write an unproduced script for the sequel, as well as an unproduced Shrek spin-off film for the character Puss in Boots. In 2007, a script he wrote with B.J. Porter and Bob Odenkirk was purchased by MTV Films with the intent of starring Rainn Wilson. It currently remains unproduced. In 2009, Aukerman and Porter wrote a pilot script for NBC, Privates. The network ultimately passed on the show. That year, Aukerman also took on the role as host Andy Samberg's head writer for the 2009 MTV Movie Awards and executive produced and co-wrote a pilot for Comedy Central, The New Andy Dick Show. The network ultimately passed on ordering it to series. In 2010 Aukerman wrote a feature script for friend Zach Galifianakis for Fox, and he and Ratatouille star Patton Oswalt co-wrote a television pilot for Fox, which the network ultimately passed on. Later that year, Aukerman joined a writer's lab, writing film scripts for Imagine Entertainment. Comedy Death Ray Comedy Bang Bang. In 2002, Aukerman and Porter started the hugely successful alternative comedy showcase Comedy Death Ray, which ran every Tuesday night at the M Bar in Los Angeles. Porter had friends in common with M Bar owner Joe Reynolds, and visited the bar a few times shortly after its opening. Upon seeing how empty M Bar was night after night, Porter convinced Reynolds to let him start a comedy show to help drum up business. The show eventually moved to the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in 2005 in an attempt to gain more creative freedom. A Comedy Death Ray CD taped partially in San Francisco at the SF Sketchfest and partially at their 4th anniversary all-night show in LA was released on Comedy Central Records on September 11, 2007. The CD featured Aukerman, as well as comedians David Cross, Patton Oswalt, Paul F. Tompkins, and other CD irregulars. In 2007, Aukerman and Porter produced several internet shorts with Comedy Death Ray comedians for the internet site Super Deluxe. These included 3 episodes of the Brody Stevens Interview Challenge, and 2 episodes of Lake Charles Lake, in which he also co-starred. They made more shorts in 2008. But the site was shut down and folded into Adult Swim before they could air. Additionally in 2007, Aukerman and B.J. Porter created and produced a sketch pilot, titled The Right Now Show, based on their show for Fox. However, the network passed on ordering it to series in late 2007. Cast member Casey Wilson was immediately hired as a featured cast member of Saturday Night Live after the news. A short film made for the show, Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis, eventually moved to internet site Funny or Die, becoming one of its most successful series. Starting January 3, 2011, Aukerman became the host of a series of interview interstitials, titled Comedy Death Ray, airing 3 nights a week on the IFC network, where he interviews stars and creators of shows that the network runs, including The Ben Stiller Show, The Larry Sanders Show, Mr. Show, Freaks and Geeks, Undeclared, and Arrested Development. In 2011, Aukerman and Porter parted ways, and Comedy Death Ray was renamed Comedy Bang Bang. Comedy Bang Bang, the podcast. Being a frequent guest on and admirer of the award-winning podcast Never Not Funny with Jimmy Pardo led Scott to the decision that he should start his own comedy podcast. On May 1, 2009, Aukerman started to host Comedy Death Ray Radio, a comedy-themed broadcast based upon the live show, on Los Angeles radio station Indie 103.1. The show continued to air on Fridays at 12 noon Pacific, but moved to being distributed by the Earwolf podcasting network in 2010. The podcast of each show is available weekly on iTunes and the Earwolf website, and has been downloaded several million times. Aukerman hosts, with frequent guest collaborators Harris Whittles, Paul F. Tompkins, James Adomian, Nick Kroll, Andy Daly, among others, serving as guests and characters. Entertainment Weekly called the show often strange, consistently hilarious, always unpredictable, and the Avenue Club named it one of 2010's best podcasts. In May 2011, Aukerman renamed the show Comedy Bang Bang. On June 8, 2012, IFC premiered the television series Comedy Bang Bang. On December 4, 2013, the AV Club named Comedy Bang Bang the best podcast of 2013. Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. One sketch from Aukerman and Porter's sketch show The Right Now show, Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis, was put up on internet site Funny or Die and received several hundreds of thousands of hits in just a few days. This was followed by Ferns interviews with talk show host Jimmy Kimmel, Mad Men star Jon Hamm, Natalie Portman, Bradley Cooper, Charlize Theron, Conan O'Brien, Ben Stiller, Steve Carell, Sean Penn, Bruce Willis, Jennifer Aniston, Will Ferrell, Oscar Buzz Edition, a collaboration video with The Lonely Island and James Franco, and a Happy Holidays edition featuring Samuel L. Jackson, Tobey Maguire and the Arcade Fire. Aukerman directed the Theron, O'Brien, Penn, Willis, Ferrell, Oscar Buzz, Bieber, Franco and Happy Holidays edition episodes. In March of 2014, an episode was released with President Barack Obama. It was designed to bring attention to the Affordable Care Act. Galifianakis engaged in his regular insult comedy style of interviewing, which the president reciprocated throughout the interview. Within 24 hours, the video of this interview had amassed upwards of 14 million views. Aukerman directed and produced this episode, which won the 2014 Emmy Award for Outstanding Short-Format Live-Action Entertainment Program. Each episode has been viewed millions of times, and the President Barack Obama, Justin Bieber and Natalie Portman episodes have become 3 of Funny or Die's most popular videos ever. Earwolf. In 2010, based upon the success of his podcast, Aukerman, along with Jeff Ulrich, started the Earwolf Network, eventually producing and releasing several podcasts. In 2011, they announced a partnership with Funny or Die. Personal life. Scott is a known fan of musical theater, Elvis Costello and the band U2. In 2014, he started a limited-run podcast along with actor Adam Scott entitled You Talkin' U2 to Me, which is devoted to the career and discography of the band. The podcast is the comprehensive and encyclopedic compendium of all things U2, including the names of all the band members and what instruments they play. As a Hamlet-like play within a play, the duo also hosts several extremely limited-run podcasts within You Talkin' U2 to Me, including I Love Films, Talkin' About Money, You Poppin' My Stones, and In Utero. The sub-podcast I Love Films is distinct from the sub-podcast I Love Films, which is hosted by Harris Whittles and is dedicated to reviewing select episodes of the sub-podcast I Love Films. There is also a sub-podcast named I Love Films, during which Paul F. Tompkins declared his love for both I Love Films and I Love Films, but claimed to dislike I Love Films, stating that the probable reason was the hosts. As a musician himself, Scott is a huge music fan, admiring a wide range of genres, though he does not care for the band Phish. On several episodes of Comedy Bang Bang, he has claimed his favorite song is Backdance from the multi-platinum selling Batman album by the popular R&B artist Prince. Scott holds the distinction of being the only guest on Never Not Funny who has been on the program for each of its seasons. He has also appeared at most of the program's annual charity program, Podcast-a-thon. Aukerman is married to fellow comedian Kulip Vilaysack, his former girlfriend. Filmography: host, Comedy Bang Bang. Host, Comedy Bang Bang. Host, writer, executive producer. Comedy Death Ray, host of Interstitials for IFC, Analyze Phish, co-host, You Talkin' You Two to Me. Co-host, actor Mr. Show with Bob and David, Various, Just Shoot Me. Greenberg, The Huntress, Phil Hagel, The Offensive Show, Various, Cheap Seats, Without Ron Parker, Andrew Merchant, The Sarah Silverman Program, Agent Falconer, The Right Now Show, Various, David's Situation, To Catch a Predator Producer, Lewis Black's Root of All Evil, Karate Kid Victim, The Sarah Silverman Program, Banana Cop, Children's Hospital, Desperate Dad, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Police Officer, At Midnight, Himself, Actor, That Dan Punk, Mr. Hollywood Pants, Run Ronnie Run, Starving Kidnapper, Austin Powers and Gold Member, Young Nigel, Melvin Goes to Dinner, Policeman Number 1, Cake Boy, Mickey, Actor, Lake Charles Lake, On Super Deluxe, The Fun Bunch, On Super Deluxe, Writer Mr. Show with Bob and David, Run Ronnie Run, Shark Tale, Additional Dialogue, Moral Oral, Comedy Bang Bang. Director, Next. Various, Between Two Ferns, Charlize Theron, Conan O'Brien, Sean Penn, Bruce Willis and Will Ferrell, Oscar Buzz Edition, James Franco, Happy Holidays, President Barack Obama Episodes, The Four Flop Tops, Funny or Die Video, Lost with Paul Scheer, Internet ARG for the TV show Lost. Sizzle Alert, Lost with Sarah Silverman, Funny or Die Video, Between Two Ferns, A Fairy Tale of New York, Comedy Central Special, Discography, Albums, Studio, 2007, Scott Aukerman's Kakaroos Greatest Hits, 2008, Never Not Christmas, A Holiday EP, Compilation, 2007, Comedy Death Ray, 2009, Comedy by the Numbers, 2009, Comedy Death Ray Xmas CD 2009, 2010, Comedy Death Ray Xmas CD 2010, Other, 2006, Brian Posehn, Live In, Nerd Rage, 2007, Eben Schletter's Witching Hour, 2008, Our Magic, The Best of a Romance, Background Vocals, That's My Girl by the Vandals. Appears on Look What I Almost Stepped In. Dirty White Boy by the Vandals. Unreleased, Hey Ho by the Vandals. Appears on Mosh Pit on Disney, Japanese compilation album, References. External links, Scott Aukerman at the Internet Movie Database, Scott Aukerman at All Movie, Scott Aukerman Talks on the Gentleman's Club with Caleb Bacon podcast.